Hello, friends. Welcome to the Career Guru Podcast. I am your host, Steve Yanofsky. What a glorious day it is to start your path on a new career. Doors are opening here at the Boston Career Institute even as we speak. And I'm here holding the key for you. So tune in, stay sharp, and enjoy yourself. This is going to be great. Hashtag Let's Career Up. Greetings, my friends, conversationalists, thrill seekers, career gurus, aspiring career gurus, all across the fruited plain. I am Steve Yanofsky, your career guru, coming to you across the magic of the internet waves, reaching the farthest corners of the known universe, yada, yada, yada. I'm so glad to be here today. I hope you can hear the excitement in my voice. I am overcoming all sorts of challenges and adversity to be here to bring you yet another installment of our beloved podcast. A little levity never hurt anyone. Especially since today's topic is an interesting one. It kind of dovetails on what we talked about toxic workplaces and toxic supervisors and so on and so forth. And this podcast is inspired by yet another interaction I had with a student who is in such a toxic workplace and responded to me via email and asked to say, hey, Guru, you mentioned something about documenting my interaction with my supervisor, who is indeed toxic and is harmful to me in general. And I wanted you to address the methods by which documentation is acceptable. So I'd like to take this opportunity to discuss this with you. It may feel a little bit out of sequence, but whatever the case may be, we're allowed to do this. We don't have any strict requirements as to what, when, and how. We just talk about the subjects of interest to us all, and to me in particular, having to do with your career growth and development. We'll delve into positivity back in our next episodes, and we'll stay focused on the positive aspects, but sometimes we have to touch the gray area a little bit that is between positive and potentially negative, and we know that there's no such thing. So we're going to work on facilitating getting out of these little twilight zones, if you will, of negativity that interact with you in the workplace. Okay? So the point was, or the question was hey, Guru, how do I document my interaction with my supervisor to make sure that if I do need to bring it to the higher ups, that is something like the human resources department or anyone else for that matter, it could be the Department of Transitional Assistance. If you're seeking unemployment benefits and so on and so forth, and your claim is being challenged, all of these things need to be done in advance. Documentation needs to be done in real time, rather, in advance of any decision that you will make to depart from your workplace. So the most important thing for you to understand that even the things that you write down constitute an evidentiary record of your interactions with your supervisor. Any document that is kept regularly or is recorded regularly is admissible even in the court of law, certainly by human resources. To this end, I'm not saying a lot of people say, oh, I'm going to record all of my conversations. I'm going to have my GoPro camera hidden somewhere in my body, or I'm going to have a voice-activated recorder all the time on my person. No, friends, don't do that. That is inadmissible and not allowed, and you'll get yourself in a whole heap of trouble. However, keeping a journal is something that is more than acceptable and is certainly a lot more beneficial for you than a recording that may be misconstrued. So my recommendation is to establish a dedicated record system. I recommend a notebook, a nice notebook where you can date every sheet and record at length your interactions. You can certainly then transcribe your notes into the computer, into a Word document, whatever the case may be. But most important is to have the date stamps. Whether it is something that's handwritten or not, almost doesn't matter. Okay? It is certainly okay for you to write a date in a notebook. Just make sure that there is continuity of your record. So, again, a bound notebook, not loose leaves. Very important that the notebook is bound so you can't be blamed for switching the order of events and so on and so forth. That's why having a bound notebook is key. That's step number one. Step number two is record each incident promptly. Don't wait until your memory fades. As soon as something happened and you have a free moment, write it down. Date, time, location, names of everyone present, people who may be witnesses at some point in time. Exact words and actions have to be recorded, as close to exact as possible. What your supervisor said to you, what did other people say, what did you say in response? Be as precise as possible. Also, one other thing that you can record is the kind of an impact that your, for example, supervisor's derogatory statements had on you and or other members of your team or people who are present. So I felt emotionally distressed. The work was disrupted. There were policy violations based on this and my understanding of the policies. I had safety concerns. These things. This is the kind of impact they're looking for in a record. So again, date, time, location, names of everyone present, exact words and actions that we're taking, your responses, and the impact that it had on you and others. Aside from the written record, make sure to preserve any supporting evidence that you may have. It may be simplest things, but the best stuff is things like emails, text messages, chat logs, anything with the back and forth that you may have that will substantiate um, the veracity or the honesty, truthfulness of your statements. Voicemails or recordings, everything is downloadable nowadays. Work-related documents, unless they contain protected information, it's particularly difficult in a hospital setting because a lot of the stuff is healthcare protected information or protected health information, rather, PHI. So you have to be careful about that so as not to get yourself in trouble. But these are the things that you need to have at your disposal. And just keep in mind that everything belongs to your employer. So be very careful about what it is that you're downloading and saving and so on and so forth. Be careful. Be careful. You should never violate the law yourself. Other things that people don't think about when they're feeling threatened or when they're in an abusive relationship is they lose all sense of rationality or objectiveness or professionalism. Let the emotions run you wild. It's never going to come to anything good. Become emotionally detached from what is happening and look at things objectively and professionally. Avoid all sorts of emotional language, like, oh, he's a jerk. He's no good. Things like that. Stay away from that sort of thing. Be objective. Be objective. Document facts only. For example, my supervisor, on whatever date you had, at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, John Smith raised, and I'm sorry if there's a John Smith in the audience. I apologize. I'm just using any generic name. So John Smith, imaginary John Smith, the supervisor, raised his voice in front of 3 coworkers, stating you're incompetent and don't belong here. Something like that. Factual statements. And don't forget that if you're bringing up coworkers, make sure to write down as many names as you can, as you remember from the incident. In order to stay objective, you can also begin to look for patterns. What does that mean? It means is that chronic abusers tend to do things at about the same time, at about the same place, based on approximately the same conditions. So you have to look for these things. Is this a regular thing? Does this happen every Monday morning? Does it happen after each payday? Does it happen regularly? So look for regularities, look for patterns, look for frequency. Does it happen daily, weekly, or only during specific situations or circumstances? Is there an escalation to what's happening? Record what do I mean by escalation? If things are worsening. Be very specific and objective. Comparison between you and other people being treated by the same person. Document if you feel singled out, or if others are experiencing the same thing as you, at least from your standpoint. Make sure to document all that. Another important thing, and perhaps I should have mentioned it first, but make sure you yourself have a good understanding of the company policies. Every employer must have some policies in place. If they don't have any policies in written form, it becomes a free-for-all. So there's always, especially with a large employer, there's always an employee handbook. Make sure you understand what the rules are. You need to know the rules of the game. You can't expect to go out and play a nice game of baseball if you don't understand the rules of the game. And the same is true for your employment. You need to understand the rules of the game by which you're supposed to play. If you don't get it, if you don't know the rules, how do you know that your supervisor is violating them? How do you know that you're acting within your rights? All of these things need to be spelled out. And remember one thing, company policies may be one thing, but they must always be aligned properly with the law. No matter how just or unjust things may sound to you, if the company policy aligns with the laws and policies, and they all have to be together on this, right? You need to understand if things work properly compared to a specific standard. And the policies and laws are what you need to be understanding. If the situation escalates at some point in time, you need to be able to share your information, but share it strategically. Not everyone in your inner circle at work or any place else is privy or should be privy to the information that you are recording. It could be counterproductive. In a toxic work environment, specifically where everyone is afraid to do the right thing, or anything for that matter, you will find that confiding in one individual or another individual may prove to be in error. And some of these people may betray your confidence, and they're certainly not the people that you need to share with. So be very careful about who you share information to. Certainly, if you need to present your information to someone, number one, don't share the originals. Always make a copy, number one. Number two, make sure they understand that they're getting the copy and the original will remain in your possession. Would you share? Human resources. If you're working in the union shop, then a union representative or legal counsel. If the situation is serious in your estimation, it is always a good idea to seek competent advice from labor law attorney. There are special attorneys out there. Don't just go to the first lawyer that you find living on your block somewhere. That's not how things are done. Today, we have all sorts of amazing tools where you can find the right people to do the right job. So make sure you find the right person. Ask all the right questions and It's an interesting topic for a podcast as to what kind of questions you should ask an attorney that you feel may be able to represent you. Let me consider it and see if I can get an attorney in here to discuss this with us. So this is who you share with. Before you share, make sure that, as they say, all your ducks are in a row. It's an old reference to a shooting gallery, that all the ducks are lined up as targets so you can shoot them. Okay? So make sure that everything is properly lined up. It's a full chronological summary of the events, not something that a person needs to try to figure out how to make heads and tails of what you wrote. Make sure it's clean and it's properly lined up with all the sequences of all the events. And don't wait until the last moment. In other words, don't wait until you're fired, okay? Because then you're fighting somewhat of a losing battle. No, while you're still employed, make sure you consult the competent person. And no matter what, continue to update your document. Every interaction, no matter how small, a single event might be dismissed, but a pattern over time carries a lot of weight. That's why going back to determining patterns is so important. Go back and look for patterns. There needs to be a fact pattern for you and for your interactions with the toxic supervisor, toxic boss in your workplace. All right. So make sure before you find a person who you need to share your information with, make sure that everything is lined up the way it's supposed to be. So let's recap. Number one, establish a dedicated record system, a notebook, a spiral bound or just a bound notebook. No loose leaves, no scraps of paper, a notebook. Record each incident promptly, date, time, location, names of everyone present, exact words and actions, your responses, and psychological or physical impact this may have had on you or on your team. You must preserve, number 3, all supporting evidence, emails, texts, chat logs, everything, voicemails. Remember, once you're fired, it's too late to download all that information. You have no access. They do, you do not. All pertinent work documents, as long as they don't contain protected health information or other sensitive subject matters that you may get in trouble for. Okay? Make sure that everything is redacted. Stay objective and professional, number 4. Don't stoop down to the base element of calling names. Okay? Document facts. Who said, what said, and under what circumstances, time and place. Track patterns. Very important step. Make sure that whoever is going to be reading this document, like an attorney or an HR representative, they see a clear picture of step-by-step objective facts that happened over a period of time, and there is a pattern. Make sure you understand workplace policies, and make sure to share this information only with people who may be able to help you. Don't share it with other coworkers. It'll lead to issues. Well, this is our time, my friends. I hope this information is helpful. I hope you will never have to use it. But if you do, I hope it will be helpful. And on this note, Career Guru brings this episode to a close. I want to wish you all the best. I want to wish you health, wealth, and time to enjoy it. I want to wish you a positive work experience full of rewarding advances in your career and finances. Okay? Wishing you all the best. Career Guru signing off. Looking forward to our next episode together. God bless you all.
Well, friends and aspiring career gurus, this was fun. Thank you for tuning in. I feel enlightened, I feel empowered, and I'm feeling grateful that we spend time with you. For more information about Boston Career Institute, please visit our website, bostoncareer.org. Boston Career Institute has 3 campuses located in Brookline, Massachusetts, Malden, Massachusetts, and Lowell, Massachusetts. Call our toll-free number 888-383-6058. For questions, comments, and or information about our podcast, email me at thecareerguru@bostoncareer.org. The Career Guru podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, our website, bostoncareer.org, or wherever you stream your podcast. Subscribe, stream, rate, and review our shows. Your rating and reviews help our show reach new audiences. Produced by PodPro Entertainment, The Career Guru lives within a network of podcasts located at podproentertainment.com. Hashtag the new radio. Looking forward to seeing you soon. All the best to you. My name is Steve Yanofsky. I am the Career Guru. May God bless you. Hashtag let's career up.